Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, August 27th. Heather here in Trading Rebels. And I just wanted to chat a little bit here about the market. Yesterday was, you know what? Forget the market. Yesterday was just an incredibly sad day. And, we're a Marine Corps family here. We take it very personally um, when things like this happen. And to all of you who also take it personally, all I can say is, you know what? Stand strong in this. Don't let anyone change your beliefs. And remember that we are still living in an amazing country and we will get this right. It's just very sad that we had to lose so many that seemingly could have been avoided, but remember, Monday morning quarterbacking is always easier. But all of that being said, the market was, kind of grinding higher until we got that news, and then we took quite a dip. So, what did that look like on the chart here yesterday? I'm going to pull up the 5-minute. Right, well, actually, let me put it on the SPY. It's a little cleaner if I just do it on the SPY. So we came in and we got this news. It really hit pretty hard. There were a lot of details, of course, as usual. I mean, we get the initial news and then it just kind of, it's very unsettled as more news came out. We fought back a little bit, but then it really just went downhill from there. But then you look at today in the ES and look at us. We're fighting it right back. Yesterday was a bearish engulfing candle, but today, look at, well, almost engulfing. Look at this today. We're bouncing back. We're fighting back. Do I think we're going to continue just to grind higher today? I'm a little more on the fence about that. We do have Powell speaking at 10 o'clock, so I think they'll talk more about the taper. If you look over to the right-hand side of your screen, you can see in the trade exchange that the different Fed presidents have been out and speaking, and they aren't all on the same page. There are some that are more dovish, some that are more hawkish, but in the end, it comes down to Powell, and he has been very cautious in his timing, his wording, so I don't expect him to say something that we aren't expecting. We will talk about tapering. Those were in the Fed minutes of when we got those last week. So I think it's going to be kind of more of the same. I don't think that they are going to say, okay, this is the taper plan. Here it is. We're going to put it out. I think they'll hint more about what the plan's going to be. But I don't think that they're going to rush headlong into it and say that, this is it. We're pressing the button and we'll just let it go. And I also expect him to put out the disclaimers like, well, if Delta variant picks up or the new Lambda variant picks up and we start shutting down, then they're going to back off. They're going to use here it is. This is kind of what you hear every time. They are going to continue to monitor the situation. They'll use all the tools in their tool belt to make sure that they keep the market on a strong heading and watch inflation, because inflation is obviously a big concern right now, not just to the Fed, but to all of us who are buying groceries and paying for gas. So they're going to continue to monitor it. That's what I think they're going to say. But I do think that it would not surprise me, because we did see this in the minutes, that they will probably look to start tapering at the end of the year. And honestly, we need it. We really do. Look at this market. So even though as day traders, so often we get stuck looking at what's inside each candle, we forget to pull our heads out of that microscope and look at it, right? You can look at something at the cellular level, but until you see the whole organism, right? It's not a clear picture. Well, look at this. This is a daily chart. More importantly, check this out. How can anyone say that this is not an uptrend bull market still? Is it running as hot and fast as it was before? No, we've cooled off a little bit, but not much. Look at the angle. So this was the real, climbing the mountain incredibly quickly. We took a break, but now look at this. We have come right back in. This is a very orderly uptrend chart. We did start to see some more volatility come into the market yesterday. Not a surprise, right? But that's actually a good thing too. We need to see a little volatility because when volatility rate rises, that means that the market makers are now not pricing in the volatility, if that makes sense. So when it's volatile, it means that it's already there. There's no reason to have for the market makers to come in and say, well, in these options, we have to spread it out because we have to get this much money. That's not how it works, right? So the greater the volatility, the market makers aren't pushing more price in it because they don't have to take into account volatility. I'm not sure I'm explaining that right, but in my head it totally makes sense. Anyway, so seeing some more volatility is actually a good thing, especially if we see our tick readings up. That can all be a very good thing. So anyway, we'll continue to monitor that. I think that going into today, although we are looking to open up, I think we may just flatten out pretty quickly. It's a Friday. It is a day where Powell's going to speak, right? And we have a lot of geopolitical news, right, going on. So I think that today may just kind of be a quiet day. I don't know that. You know what? The market has surprised me at times like this before and kind of looked at everything that's going on in the world, says, oh yeah, well, check this out. And it runs. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that although we do have this unrest in Afghanistan, economically, it shouldn't affect us much because we don't have trade agreements there. They aren't supply lines for really anything. They do have a lot of lithium there, but that's a whole different subject to talk about. But by and large, there's no reason it should impact us greatly economically. It is a geopolitical, and so the news is actually what's putting the market on its heels a little bit as it waits to see what the next move is. You know, and everything's tied back to money, right? Even though it may not directly affect Apple or Microsoft or any of these things, it is, you know, money is money. It's like air. We all have it, or we're all dependent upon money in some way. So, okay, so that's my thought about the market. Stop worrying about where the top is because you'll know where the top is or where it was when we're no longer there. So constantly trying to figure that out and game the market it's just a lot of wasted effort. Put your effort into reading what the market is telling you, what volume is telling you, sectors, you know, where are the strong sectors. Go to FinViz, look at that heat map every day and look and see it. I mean, it is such an easy, here, I'm going to pull it up and show you. It is such an easy visual to just go in and say, okay, well, what is strong today? Well, yesterday, Amazon. But really nothing else, right? You can see that on the heat map. Go check that out during the day. If you're getting into trades and you're not exactly sure why or can't build a good argument, or if someone walks up to you that knows nothing about trading and says, hey, why did you just buy Mara, right? I got that question yesterday, totally fine. Why did you buy Mara? Well, you know, I built the argument around Bitcoin. And since we're going to go ahead and talk about this real quick, let's talk about it. So built the argument around Bitcoin. Bitcoin broke out of a really nice level here. It has been putting in this up, take a little break, up, take a little break, up. Well, yesterday's candle, I think, had an awful lot to do with just the overall market being pulled down a bit, right? Mara was actually doing just fine until that news came out, so it moved with everything else. It's not something directed just toward Bitcoin that caused that sell-off. We ended up closing just a bit below that fib line, so the add-on that I had added yesterday, I took off. Today, I will look to add that back as long as we move back up over the 8 and stay over the 8. I will continue to watch that, continue to watch Mara. Now, if we fall back below this trend line and head to the 20, I'll go ahead and close out that the other half of the Mara trade. But Bitcoin was doing just fine. This morning we're going to see some small green forming in several charts, like Microsoft, Nvidia. Apple is putting in a little bit of green here, but still it's very small, so I wouldn't go headlong adding onto positions or anything like that. Be very methodical. Let the beginning of the market kind of settle out. The market is fighting back very nicely. The market has been grinding higher regardless of volume. It's been grinding higher here, and so don't play against the trend. There are obviously certain names that are not going with the trend. I understand that, but don't try and play and call the top on everything. It's just a really good way to get yourself sliced up. And you know what? You don't have to trade every day. Let this figure itself out. That is totally acceptable. A few that I do want to talk about real quick. Travel has been doing, yesterday it actually started out doing really well. But Airbnb had this big explosion here, and then it came actually started to look pretty darn good there on Wednesday. It pulled in a little bit and started to push back up. Well, yesterday it started out right inside that candle. That still would have been a very nice area to look before the rest of the market kind of gave up and moved back down. But watch for it to bounce off the 8 here. I kind of like the look in that. We also have a lot of the travel stocks, so just take a look at that. Snow reported and just exploded yesterday as well. And look at this. It actually closed high a day. Did not care what the market was doing at all. Look for maybe a day trade in here. This was already up a few days before those earnings. And it just continued on so nicely here. That is some pretty snow. Now CRM did gap up really nicely yesterday. Closed on the downside. And if you look inside that candle there, you're going to see that it was holding actually very well till the end of the day, and then it just sold off again with the rest of the market. But look for this one to come right back up today here in CRM. Again, kind of sticking to day trades. Nvidia yesterday stayed very range bound as well. But look at it here. On the it put in a really pretty inside candle. So we're going to look for a break of yesterday's candle to the top side for a long play. If it does happen to go the other way, potentially a put play. But again, sticking to the day trade on that until we get some better market direction. Etsy was one that really nice. We talked about this one a few times, and then it just took off. It was really strong here and ended up closing top side of that candle. Nice little uptrend. So again, another day trade potential in that one. eBay, we've been watching that one. I'm in that one. The premiums just got hit really hard on that. Stupid. But coming right back in, top side candle close. I see an inverse head and shoulders on this, and this being the approximate neckline. So that's my target there, is kind of look here to that to break that trend line in eBay. And and then Netflix. Want to talk? Oh, that's not Netflix. Netflix here. Love this pattern. Look at this beautiful flagpole and flag forming here in a nice channel. And yesterday we put in an inside candle, top side close of that inside candle. Definitely on my list for day trading today. Do I want to swing it yet? Nope, I really don't. Especially going into the weekend with all that can happen over those few days. Love this for a day trade. Next week we'll come back and look at it and see if we can break this trend line. This trend line is really a good area to look to if once we break above that, to then go back up and test this high at 563.56. And then the no name. Shh, don't tell Mark I'm looking at Tesla. All right, this one, it was kind of hanging in there pretty well yesterday. We made a nice move up, just kind of dancing along the fib line, moved down with the rest of the market. The 20 and the 8 and the 3 are all right here. I like that squeeze going on and looking for a move to the top side of this. I know that several of you have been playing this on and off. I'm looking for a move above this trend line. I really like it here. About 723.50 is a good target for entry. Again, probably more on a day trade, but this thing can move a bunch. We are holding the 700 level though. And that is important. The 700 level was so difficult for so long, since way back here in May. Getting through that 700 level and holding above it is really important here. Okay, that is it for me this morning. Remember, say prayers for all of those that have been impacted by what is going on in Afghanistan and what is yet to come in Afghanistan. It is very hard on all of our military and, all of the government employees, everybody that is over there trying to make this a better world. Just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And as far as the market goes, don't fight it. Play with it. Don't fight it. Don't constantly try and come in and second guess it. The market is grinding higher, and expect it to take some breaks. And today, with Powell speaking, might be a good time to just take a Friday off and just enjoy your day. All right, I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you in the chat room to trade with you.